Do you think anything that you've encountered or anticipate currently will be like an enduring new normal or a persistent new normal?
Yeah. Frankly, staff meetings used to really not be that engaging. And I say that as a head of school. I'd have to convene these things and then watch people sort of suffer through them. And I would do my best to make them dynamic and interesting and engaging, but they were staff meetings.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, we had to adjust our staff meetings to focus almost entirely on students. And it has been the best thing ever. The conversation is about who is the student who is struggling, how can we help that student, and how can we deploy the resources of the school as quickly as possible to address the needs of the student. That is never going to go away. I mean, if we take anything away from COVID, we take away the fact that communication is essential. It needs to happen more frequently, and it really needs to be student focused. And if you do that, you get a better school. And like I said at the beginning, you end up on the backside of this experience looking back, and you're proud of the way you behaved. We took better care of our students. We were more engaged with our parents. So that's one thing, the way we've adjusted to our staff meetings and faculty meetings to focus almost entirely on students. Another way I think COVID has benefited us, and this is perhaps unique to us as a Christian school, is it has really illustrated something that we know to be true, and that is our total dependence on God, right? We, as human beings, we're doing our best to manage this virus. I mean, we're using technology, we're using medical science, but there's something human about this virus. There is a level that gets to us on a human level. There is a stress that reaches us despite the fact that somewhere out there is a vaccine, somewhere out there is an antidote, somewhere out there is a treatment plan. But right now, there are people who are losing their jobs, and that's producing stress. There are people who have to leave their kids at home, and that's producing stress. There are people who have loved ones who are sick that they can't necessarily go and visit. There are people who are quarantining. COVID produces a different kind of social stress. And when you layer that onto communities of color who have been historically underserved, it can be toxic. But praise be to God for us. We believe in a God who is able to do exceedingly abundantly greater than we can ever hope or imagine, who can sustain us through this, who can keep our blood pressure down, right? Keep our eyes on the right sort of line of sight and give us that hope, because he has already told us that, he brought us here to prosper us, right? That he has a plan for us, and it's not to harm us, right? And so we have, as a school, sort of rallied around that fundamental concept that, he's in control of the situation. We may not be, but he is in control of the situation, and we can rely on God. And so what we've done is we have a pastor on staff, and in the spring, we made a commitment. We were going to call every family, and we were going to ask them if they wanted to pray for us and support them spiritually. And our pastors called every family in the spring, and it was a touch base. It was like, hey, how you doing? Is there anything we can pray for? And it was an amazing response. People needed prayer. They needed that, one-on-one, we care about you. We are interested in what's happening in your lives. And you know what? There's somebody we can both go to that can help us in this situation. And so, our spiritual leadership has really sort of skyrocketed in the way we implement it and the focus that we have on it. So those are just two very small things that I think COVID has allowed us to see more clearly and sort of attune our processes and procedures to.